Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sunrise Stroll and Chat, Stroll, Chat and Share here at Magdala on the Sea of Galilee. We're looking very much to the north, and there we see more light because here we've got more cloud than ever before. It's amazing. Somebody asked me yesterday if rain was coming. But this is not clouds from rain unless there's a major climatic change, because it's always very dry until November. There's a possibility of a slight sprinkling around Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the new year. It happens often, but it's just a little sprinkling of consolation, if you will, and it really remains dry until November. Sometimes you can get a lot of rain in November, but not much. Hardly anything in October. So I'm not sure how this cloud is created, to be very frank about it. I don't know the answer. I'm not a meteorologist, so I do not know the connections, but maybe it's got to do with the intense heat as well. So here we were supposed to see the moon. Where is it? Oh, there we are. Yeah, well, the camera is very intensely focused, so I needed to climb that high to get it. So there we see Mount Arbel. Still got a little bit of remnant of red. And we've got a lot of the yellow, the two different Ponciana flowers. See, the yellow one is really in bloom, and we still have some of the red blossoms coming. I'm checking to see if there are any buds up there. Yeah, there are some buds, so there's still blossoms coming, but the yellow ones are really on fire. And now we need to go on the other side of this tree, but the light won't be as good. We'll be against the light, but we have some here. So the golden Poncianas are in bloom. And it's funny, around the area I've seen in the last few days as we traveled around, I've seen quite a few trees, also both of them in full bloom. So who knows the connections there either. Yesterday we were far up north there at the castle of Nimrod, which is often called a Crusader Castle, but it was actually built by the Muslims. It's obviously Crusader style, with the engineering and architecture they brought from Europe. So it has all those features and an organization structure. But it's actually a Muslim built under the Mamluks. And it's an amazing fortress up near Caesarea Philippi, up near Mount Hermon, which is not in view today either. Although last night at the German evening stroll, I was able to see it. It wasn't great on the lens, on the camera, but it was visible from Magdala to Mount Hermon. So look at these guys are out in the water already this morning. Look at that jet ski. This early, can you imagine? It's nice to have that little bit of golden light over there. I'm not sure if golden is the right color. It's not actually golden. So it's somewhere between reddish or pink, not pink either. I don't know, you have to tell me the color. My brain isn't working on that one. So we're reading the Short Prophets, and I think there's a switch coming on Monday. But today we have Habakkuk, And if somebody asked you who is Habakkuk, you probably said you didn't even know he was in the Bible. He's a very interesting prophet we don't know much about, except he was there at the time of the exile, maybe a little before Jeremiah and Zephaniah. So in the very late 7th century, 620 maybe BC. So we're here at our little gate. There will squeak. Although that wasn't squeaking now, so I let you down. No squeak. Yeah, there we got a little squeak. Let's go down here a little bit further today, and there's our. I was never that close to that bird. Although they want you to get very close to almost think you can catch them, and then they fly off. And I must find out the name of them for you. You see, that's what happened in creation when God put Adam in the garden and he gave names to all the creatures. That's part of our ability to give names to all the creatures, to know them, as the name captures also their essence. And it's interesting, the prophet Habakkuk, his name could mean embrace or it could mean wrestle. Now when you embrace somebody, it can often be at a time of sadness, to encourage them, like a mom gathers up a little crying child, or somebody's bereaved, or it could be of great joy. And it's, if we have great joy and other people don't share it with us and rejoice with us, then that's also bitter. And it's a wonderful, it increases our joy and our delight when people share our joy. And then there's another meaning to the name of Habakkuk. It could be wrestle. And he's actually wrestling with God. He's asking God very hard questions. Why is all this injustice going on? Why is there so much corruption? And these are our questions many times in our time. We're asking, how is there so much corruption? This is a nice Bugambilia, a little bit wild, just grew up there in the middle. So these are nice views. If you don't mind climbing, I can climb over these rocks here. Just hold on tight, okay? Let somebody take you by the hand so you don't topple over. Put your hand out and touch these trees, you know. This is a nice spot here, huh? Maybe let me get up here. Trying to think. So here you have this spot. Actually, I can see the water. If the sun shows its face, we can catch it. So let's read a little bit from Habakkuk today. And this beautiful line that opens the text, it's a very short prophet, so I encourage you also today, especially you good Catholics, sometimes we haven't read enough of the scripture, read the whole book. It's only 3 chapters. And you can say, I read the prophet Habakkuk, and people will think, oh wow, what a student you are. And you just read a few pages, you know, and you read the entire prophet Habakkuk. Are you not from eternity, O Lord, my holy God, immortal? O Lord, you have marked him for judgment. O rock, and these words to describe God, you have readied him punishment. Too pure are your eyes to look upon evil. What a wonderful thought. You know, how many people today indulge in viewing spectacles? Now, we were very critical of the Romans, right? That they would go to the Colosseum and watch lions eat people. You know, what's in the heart of a human being that needs that? I wonder what that is in there in the reeds. Did you hear the noise? What's in the heart of people that need to see violence? What's in the hearts of people that need to see abuse? Maybe that's part of our sickness, that it's like eating bad food. I don't know, I had a little tummy upset yesterday. And, you know, your mind kind of scans, well, did I eat something or what was it, you know? What putting that kind of stuff into our system, into our brains, into our memory, because that kind of stuff is very hard to erase from memory. How can you erase? There's our squadron. Oh, just got them. Look. We got them. So there's some type of complicity in evil. There's some type of brokenness inside of us. Because you don't want to put... Yesterday we had a little problem with the van. It's a new van. And it's diesel. And now you have to add a thing called AdBlue, which actually isn't blue at all. It's clear liquid. And this is the first time we had to do it. So none of us knew about it, and we learned. It was a learning experience. And the light kept coming on, AdBlue, or otherwise your engine will cut out in 40 kilometers, and then it was going to cut out in 10 kilometers. So we stopped again. We stopped 3 times. And finally we got it all fixed, you know. But you had to AdBlue. And imagine if you put diesel into a gas engine, or you put gas or petrol, we say in Ireland, into a diesel engine, you'd have big, big problems. And if we put this junk into ourselves, and I love this line of Habakkuk. We just read it, let me go back to it. Too pure are your eyes to look upon evil. Too pure, and actually it's the heart really rather than the eyes. Too pure, blessed are the pure of heart, they will see God. Why can't we see God more? How we need to cherish again to be pure of heart. And if we put the wrong thing in our stomach or the wrong fuel into the car, we're going to have major problems that are going to be very expensive. And you know, the kingdom of heaven is like a pearl, a treasure, hidden in the field somewhere. Imagine finding a treasure in this place. You lost your watch, you lost your phone, you're walking through a brush like this for an hour, 2 hours, and you're climbing a mountain, and then you realize, I don't have my phone, so I need to go and find my treasure. Because it's a treasure, and you know, you can't afford to lose your phone, or your wallet, or your credit card, and you go and look for the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field. And the man went off and he found the treasure. You know, he went off and he sold all he had to buy the treasure. Blessed are the pure of heart, they will see God. How much is God worth to us? How much is God worth to us? How much of a treasure is God for us? And one of the things I love about Habakkuk for years and years and years is the closing line, you know. And he wants to be taken up to a nest in the mountain. And that intimacy with God, that desire for God that really fuels the hermit, that fuels the person that withdraws from the bustle and the noise. You obviously have a tremendous love for God that fuels the person to go into the middle of the burning fire to bring out people. And Mother Teresa goes into the middle of a bustling city to pick up the lepers. So, you know, to have a burning zeal for God doesn't mean only to go into solitude, but we do need solitude. And Jesus himself gives us the first example. He spent the whole night in prayer, in a lonely place. Can you think about a place like here where Jesus would be all night? And you'd have the stars up here, and the moon rising, and Jesus alone with his Father. Too pure, I think that line is so brilliant. Too pure are your eyes to look upon evil. Let's think about the next time they put that ad on in television, or that program is happening. Look at your spouse. Connect with his eyes, with her eyes. And just say, we really don't need to be watching this. We really don't need to. Imagine if our children walked in. Well, that's just a matter of shame and kind of losing your honorable level. But what about God walking in? And when did God ever walk out? And you know, we blame all the big violent people and thugs and terrorists and cheats and drug dealers and human traffickers. But who's buying the stuff? So maybe this is a beautiful gift we're getting this morning. We're going to make a radical decision that what we are going to indulge our eyes on the screens, whether they're big or small screens, or the big giant screen at the cinema, we're just not going to let our eyes dwell on this junk. No matter how hungry we are no matter how unsatisfied our heart is, no matter how restless we are, we've got to know how to rein that wild horse. Like a great sportsman, a great champ. See that little girl, and she's jumping in the show, and that's the time for the famous Dublin horse show, you know. And she's clearing all the jumps, and the dikes, and the water, and the horse is very fiery, very temperamental, but that girl knows how to dominate that horse. Let us be able to, and that's one of the great meanings of meekness. Meekness isn't stupidity and being naive and simplistic and dumb and not capable. Meekness is that our great temperament and character is brought into a wonderful harmony, a wonderful respect, a wonderful ability to relate, a wonderful gentleness of spirit. And hear this line from Habakkuk. Too pure are your eyes to look on evil. I just love that. And that's a gift to me this morning as well, because I hadn't really dwelt on that line yesterday or earlier today. And the sight of misery you cannot endure. That doesn't mean we can't endure the miserable. Because if we see misery, we want to relieve it. We want to end the misery. The poor people in Beirut, and they're just up here on those mountains. Well, that's actually a little bit over here, and there's a lot of cloud over there, so you can't see the mountains over there. And this is a need. When we see people with cancer, with illness, we want to relieve the illness. We want to bring consolation to the bereaved. A mother having failed the battle with cancer, and little children left behind. Oh, look at, there are the cranes, a bunch of them over here. Hey, this is a nice spot here. Look at the vegetation here. Really wild, you know. Hey, we have the sea as well here now. This is a nice spot. Hey, this is a new spot, a nice spot. And there are even little wild flowers here. Did you see them already? This one is really closed, it's not open yet. But there are other ones that are more open, or at least I think they are. Yeah, over here. Sorry for moving so fast, it's very focused on the detail. This is the parable of the camera focus. Where are we, little flower? Yeah, There we got it. There we got it. Okay, let's do this. Nice and gently. Imagine all these creatures and the incredible intelligence inside of them. Intel inside. The chip that's in there that's assimilating the oxygen, it's assimilating the energy from the sun that we're waiting to see. Sorry. Something happened with my page, I lost my text, so that's kind of, I'll take that just as a sign that we stick with that one thought today. You can check out the readings, you have the link, so check out the readings for the in the link today, but I think that's a huge gift to our souls and our minds today, to strengthen us in that battle about what's offered, what society offers us to see, what the world pushes on our minds, even little children, you know. It's amazing that they're so exposed to so much horrendous violence and absolutely wrong behavior between men and women, and we won't even go into other subjects in that whole field. And this is in their brain, this is fed into them, and it causes such havoc for capacity for healthy relationships. Too pure are your eyes to look on evil. So then, what's the grace to ask for is to contemplate God in His holiness. Blessed are those, there's a wonderful line, see it, we're actually right close to the Mount of Beatitudes here, we can see it on this view here. Let me see over here, it should be in view. Yeah, there it is. So there's the Mount of Beatitudes from this angle. So you won't be able to see it that brilliantly because of the haze, but we're in the right place. So let me just bring this for you here. So it's actually, there's one big reed with all of the leaves pointing east towards the sun on our left, the left third of the screen. In the center of the screen there's a tall reed the same size, but it's not, its leaves, yeah, they're a little bit also pointing to the east. And right behind, that's the Mount of Beatitudes right there. And Jesus says there, blessed are the pure of heart, they will see God. I wonder if he had in mind what's going on in the 21st century and the 20th century. There was always stuff like that, surely, but the availability today is so intense, and it's everywhere, and it's considered to be freedom of information, and it's considered to be the right of everybody to do what they want, and the evil of it is not seen. So let's look at God's holiness, contemplate God. So go back to that line of the Mount of Beatitudes. Blessed are the pure of heart, they will see God. But you can turn it around and you can say, blessed are those who see God, who contemplate God, they will be pure of heart. Because the company with God makes us like Him. And you know, lie down with dogs and get up with fleas. My dad used that proverb, God rest his soul. And you know, the people you hang around with brushes off. And if we're hanging around with all these guys, we need to be careful. We need to have a great sense of who we are, and then we need to hang around with God. And that's the beauty. And it's not just to be going and saying this prayer and that prayer and the other prayer. It's just hang with God. Like the famous Courier of Ours we had on the 4th of August, Jean-Marie Vianney, one of his little experiences that he shared with his people, and he was astonished himself, that incredible man of God. And he saw this man that was always sitting in the church. He never saw his lips moving. He was just sitting there, always, day after day, day after day, day after day. This older man, a simple man, a peasant, you know, like there were tons of them in France at that time. And he says to him one day, he says, well, what are you doing? You're here all the time, and what are you doing here? He said it in a nice, not an aggressive way, I'm sure. And the man said to him, well, here I'm looking at him, and he is looking at me. It's like two people in love. They don't need to be using an awful lot of words, just to be in each other's company. And if we hang with God, that has to purify our heart. Our heart will be pure if we hang with God. And if we hang with God, our eyes cannot look at evil. Look at this bird here, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's like a bird of prey that's going, it's gone now. But you can see it, I'm sure, you might have seen it already. And it was just standing almost still in the air, and its wings were beating powerfully to hold it in that position, and it was like peak was downward bent, but obviously it laid off and said, okay, that's not my moment to catch that prey, it'll be another time. So this is our sunrise today, people. It looks like we won't be seeing the active sun. So I say God bless you. It was wonderful being with you. A delight. And this is a lovely spot that I've discovered as well. A little variation here for sunrise stroll and chat. And it's a very nice angle to combine the lake and the Mount of Beatitudes. The nature, the wild, the vegetation. There's even a little water in here. It's close. So God bless you. By the way, Mass is at 4 p.m. today, not now. Not at 7:15 in the morning. It's back to normal schedule. See you later, alligators. God bless you all. Have a blessed weekend.